In this video, we're going to talk about the fate of OnlyFangs. Can they succeed in completing Molten Core? The answer, yes, which we'll discuss and break down in this video. But the shorthand, with the amount of handouts and freebies and gold and mob tagging they're given throughout their journey, yeah, literally even an IRL group of Murlocs could beat Molten Core at that point. They kind of put minimum effort into playing their character and learning the game, and it's just kind of carried all the way through. So with all the mob tagging they get done, and especially all the free gold, they don't have to grind out any gold to buy anything, which is kind of a big part of the game where you're struggling with is the gold. So when I die, I'm always like, no, the gold. And I watch so many of them when they die. It's like, here's 1,000 gold. Start over and get it back up. And they get their engineering up to like 200 in like 10 minutes. So death kind of means nothing to them. They kind of put it on like it does, like, oh no, I farmed a clip, put it on YouTube, and now, oh no, I gotta start over. 20 hours of mob tagging, get to 40, where if you're not mob tagging, that's like 2-3 weeks of work right there. Like if I died at 40, that's like 3 weeks is gonna take me questing to get back up there. But that's where the real fun of hardcore comes from, I feel, is redoing the threat and the fear, not needing to die because you lose everything and you don't want to die, versus just giving everything back and then just mob tagging in a day and you're right back to where you left off, versus the 3 weeks of questing and the agony and the hardship. The fact that there's no punishment, I feel kind of takes away a little bit from the hardcore challenge. It's kind of just like a minor inconvenience at that point for them. Honestly, I think one of the guild punishments should be if you mob tag, you don't get any rewards, no free gold, no handouts. You mob tag up and you gotta prove yourself. You gotta earn your right. Then like every 10 levels they can get into the guild vault and get some more gold. Like, oh, you made it to 10? Well, here, I'll give you a bag and 10 gold. That's your daily allowance. That's it. They should be paid an allowance. So go through and be like, boom, allowance, boom. You made it success. It'll be like achievement, checkpoints along the way. Then just play the game normally. And honestly, you'll see if they stop them from mob tagging, there'll probably be a lot less deaths because they'll see how painful the game is without it. And they'll definitely die a lot less. They'll put more work into playing their character. Let's jump into some clips. I analyzed some last night and I'm going to look at a few more today. So right here, you know the problem. The big problem is what he just said. He's a mage. He's level 60. Okay? He's a mage and he's level 60. And he's never AoE farmed before. And he's learning for the first time in a level 60 dungeon at max level. First off, to get to 60, you gotta AoE farm sometime as a mage. It's kind of part of the class. It's part of the, there's gonna be points where you're gonna AoE farm or do something where you're gonna learn how to AoE farm while leveling from 1 to 60 levels in classic. You're going to learn how to AoE farm, or at least how to do, even if you don't do it, you're going to learn how to do it at some point though. So the fact that he's level 60 and he's just learning, one, is a terrible spot to learn. Everyone in this group should have known and not done that. Two, he should have known how to do it. This is why I think OnlyFangs, as much as they're all about content and we all need content, they're probably going to fail a little bit because of the fact that most, not all of them, but a good 50% of their people, it seems like a good half of them. Actually, here, let me show you exactly what they're getting. Actually, I have a good example right here. This is kind of what goes on. They don't learn how to play their characters because half of their members of their guild get given thousands of gold, get their proficiency leveled up, and then they get mob tagged all the way up. So they never learn how to play their characters. They don't go through and they don't play the game really for real. They don't play. They don't learn their skills. They don't get gear. They don't do it. They just go through and get other people to mob tag them all the way up to the max level. And it's grindy. It's annoying, but it's the fastest way in the game. And it's the easiest way. And they don't ever learn how much damage they can put out. They don't learn how to play. That's why a mage is level 60 and doesn't know how to mob tag. At this point, OnlyFangs might as well just buy their characters. There's no point in wasting the... They're saying they don't want to do this because look, they go around, they drag them all over, and then they just grab them. There's no point in even doing this. You might as well just go and buy your characters at this point. Have people farm them out and then buy it. You got the money, if that's what they want to do. And then when they die, that's why a lot of them die for content, and it doesn't matter. Death doesn't matter for them because they get back up in like, what, it'll be an annoying 20 hours, but it's a 20-hour stream of 20,000 people. You're making bank on that. Yeah. So that's why watching clips like this of them trying to do dungeons, actually playing their character where they can't get mob tagged or anything, get carried and all of that, where they do get all this free gear, where they get all the way up. Emmy got back to 40 in around 2 days. Yeah, I saw that. That's what I mean. And I was watching some of that. It was, no, I think she got to 35 in one day, and I think the second day she got up to 40. Miz got to 40 in one day. I saw someone else got mob tagged back up. When they die, they get mob tagged up, and they don't learn the character, and that's the problem. When you don't play and do the quests and like get into risky situations where there's still the chance where you can maneuver and learn how, like right here, the big thing, they should have an add-on in hardcore that shows what these guys do. 2, they should have researched this dungeon and saw what every monster does. They should have known what these guys do and know that they have a ranged attack, which is what? It's a shadow bolt that gets them. Second, learning how to do it here is the worst spot. No one in this group should have allowed this to happen. The tank should, if you're going to AoE farm in a dungeon, the tank should charge in, pull aggro, and then he should AoE farm without them being pulled on him. There should not have been this. 3, he waits until they're so close to him that you're supposed to do the maximum amount of distance to slow him down to get as many as you can before they even get close to you. But he waits, and you see him here that he's hesitating. He's trying to learn, and he keeps moving it back. Like, he had so much room. He should have went out, and he wasted. There's good half a distance that he wasted where they're right there. And he only gets the one off, and they're already up here. He can get a second. And then they should have known what skills they do in the danger. And the tank should always have aggro. Even when you're AoE farming in a dungeon, I would not risk this at all without a tank having the aggro first.
Oh my god.
So we don't need soda. I already told you exactly what's more important. This is why I see OnlyFangs it's going to be interesting to watch, but that's what they want. I guess they don't really care. Well, Soda cares to succeed. I guess the rest of them don't. They just want, I guess they're getting what they want. Mob tag up to 60 to go into a dungeon where they don't know what they're doing or how to play the game. What their skills do, they don't know any rotations. They don't know what the enemies do. Let's see what Soda says about it.
I don't even know what killed him. This isn't something I know.
See, that's the thing. If you go in there, you should know. You got it. Well, Soda doesn't, because Soda would research. I'll give Soda props. He's the only one of them who I think he does his research. He knows his stuff. So I'll listen to him. But these people, they should have known what, they should have looked up these attack of everything. And yeah, this is a bad spot.
So all of these guys have a Shadow Shock, which has a 20-yard range. This is something that you need to know as a mage.
Yep. Exactly. See? Soda knows. These are things that are dangerous, that are gonna get you killed. You want to know what you're fighting, especially, I mean, trash mobs. That's why I say, when you're AoE farming, trash mobs they could be dangerous and they can kill you, but they have things that there's more survivability. If you goof up in an AoE farm fighting trash mobs, you have a good chance of still you have the skill set, you have the arsenal to still get out of there and survive. Versus in a dungeon where they can just one-shot kill you, that is not a spot to learn. You should have learned before you got to level 60. You had 60 levels to learn this skill set. I don't know that. I was going to say, I don't know why he doesn't know it, but we know exactly why. Because we see right here why most of the people don't know how to play. Why they're all dying at 60 in weird, not very smart ways. Because that's going to be the problem. I think that's going to be the biggest downfall of OnlyFangs is they're going to get all the 60 by being mob tagged up, and they're all going to die because they don't know how to handle. They're not going to know how to handle stressful situations in the threat and the fear that's going to be coming of risky situations. And that is gesture take. So they're in a sticky situation already. They're deep in a cave. And they're fighting. They pulled more than they should probably. And the respawns, there's no way. When you're in a cave, you can't get out. That's the dangerous thing. The back way is out. The only way you can do is stand your ground and fight.
I don't know how you end up thinking, we need to run that fast.
The enemy's almost dead. That one's almost dead. And they pulled one extra one. They had enough arsenal take him out. The running is not a good.
It is 2 mobs. Literally 2 mobs. Actually, holy fuck.
And he still has half life, and he still has all his cooldowns yet. Which you would know, I guess, if he didn't get mob tagged. That's the thing. You need to know your character inside and out.
It's still winnable, by the way. 5 mobs. Still maybe not winnable as much anymore. But it's still, your odds are better to stand and not run. Okay. 6 mobs. It's not winnable. Intercept to that. Emmy is getting fucked. 7, 8.
They're just they're just gonna keep pulling and pulling and pulling.
Now you do run.
All right, so he's doing a classic mage pull.
See, this is the part where this is the one I give him huge props. He has no one else around. He's doing the mage pull, mage AoE farming on his own, no one around. The threat's there. It's real. He has to really know exactly what he's doing. Naturally, he got a death here, so he messed something up, so we're going to see. But if you're going to be doing this, you need to know everything in your arsenal, how to get out and how to survive and how to do it. You need to learn beforehand versus going in and just sitting there and just hitting them with a random AoE and just letting everyone else kill them or heal you. Doing it solo, you learn a lot. Oh,
he had a dummy but didn't use it.
Wait, did it fast forward on my end or their end?
That is a yikes.
Wait, what?
No health pot.
Wait, why does the video freeze? Wait, why does it just skip right to his death?
Health pot.
Well, anyway, you get the point. I think this one, even though he died, this one's Admiral Death because he's actually learning how to do this and not being carried through. Okay, here we go. Another example. Kind of just mob tagging up to level up. And disconnect it. That's the threats you gotta face with it. If they're just so eager to do the raid, I mean, you might as well just buy your characters. There's no difference really than mob tagging all the way up versus buying your character. They could just go ahead and save themselves the trouble and just go ahead and buy their characters. Buy level 60 and do the raid. Because they'll know the character just as much as this way. So going through a few other people besides Miz, who we looked at live, there's a few other people who don't have as much handouts, but still watching through some of the things that they have. I went through some other members watching the VODs, and a lot of them always have a priest, a healer, some kind of healer following them around, keeping them. They got a lot of money given to them. So most of them always have that little safety net so they can go and do mob tagging without the risk of death, which is part of the learning process in WoW Hardcore. So when it comes to the actual dungeon part, when they don't have that safety net, it's going to get risky. And they're going to make some mistakes that they should have learned while leveling. We saw Master Yoshi just learning how to AoE farm at level 60. We see, Christopher Yee here has his little healer, which I guess is fine at this point. It's not like what we saw with Mizkif with 50 people leveling him up through mob tagging. We have him. He just have 2 people there helping him go through. But you lose that risk where if you mess up, you're done and dead. So there's going to be a lot of lack of skill when you get to the end game. Then I see a bunch of lack of knowledge throughout the basic game. Like Emmy just walked into an elite guard and died, where if you're questing in that area instead of mob tagging, you would actually know the area and know not to go through there. There's a few spots like that where if you don't know your character, well, mob tagging up, they're not fully knowing their characters. They're not going to know the areas. It's going to be risky. But then the last thing kind of takes away from the fun with mob tagging. A lot of the fun of WoW Hardcore watching was seeing the struggle as they fight through the level up. And like Mitch Jones, when Mitch Jones first started back before WoW Hardcore was out with just the add-on, watching him go through the quest and then die, and then go through and do the quest again and die, that was the most fun. They're saying that they want to get through the boring part so we can have fun, so they're mob tagging, but the mob tagging is the boring part. I'd rather watch them go from level 1 to 30 and die while doing real quests and having the threat and just going through and like a risk, the scare factor, instead of getting all the way up to level 40, 50 through a cheesy tactic and then just playing. It takes half the fun out of it. These are just my thoughts. What do you guys think about it? Do you guys rather see them quest normally and have the fear factor, or do you want to see them mob tag, get up and just do the raid and that's it? Do the raid and done, or actually struggle through hardcore? So to conclude, yes, they can beat it because they're going to all get up there. Is it going to be as exciting? Not as much as I thought as it was going to be going into the excitement of WoW Hardcore. Watching them just mob tag up to the max level and doing it without the challenge and the threat and the fear of questing along the way kind of takes a little bit away from it. But they'll definitely be able to meet their goal. Or, I mean, at that point, what's the difference between buying your character and mob tagging it? So, I mean, if it comes down to it and they want to do the raid, they'll just keep dying and then just buy a level 60 to do it. They'll know their characters just as much, so it doesn't really matter in the end, does it? So leave a comment down below what you think about mob tagging in their way and what you think their outcome will be. And I say, bring back the Mitch Jones hardcore runs.